Hey everyone, my name is fecund Maiden, but since we're friends, you can call me Tanesha. I'm an online belly dance and yoga teacher, and today I'm showing you everything about belly dance posture and alignment. So let's get started. Welcome to your belly dance posture class. I'm Tanesha, your teacher, and I pledge the following to you as my student. Number 1, I pledge that I will create a warm, open, and inviting learning environment for you. Number 2, I pledge that I will be open to new ideas, concepts, and methods presented by you or others. 3, I pledge that I will be open and honest with my resources and share them freely. 4, I pledge that I will speak clearly with the intention to communicate thoroughly to you. 5, I pledge that I will be open to citation and research criticism. Number 6, I pledge that I will accommodate your learning style and accessibility requests. And lucky number 7, I pledge that I will teach from an inner space of love, peace, groundedness, and a damn good time. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then let's get started. Okay, so let's chat about belly dance posture and alignment. In this class, we will work our way up from the feet up to the head, but first we're going to start with the mind because I believe the mind is the head honcho of the body. So let's give it a little bit of respect and recognition for the role that it plays in our belly dance or movement practices. And we're going to start with centering our attention inward, and I invite you to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth with me, okay? Breathing in the intention that we want to set for this belly dance practice, and it may be peace, it may be joy, it may be relaxation, but meditate on that idea as we breathe it in through the nose and out through the mouth. So as we are breathing and setting our meditation, I'd like to ask you a few questions in the beginning of our movement practice. One is, how are we feeling today? Are there any aches or pains or little cricks that you should be aware of as you're moving your body in your belly dance practice today? How do you feel emotionally, inside, mentally? Are we feeling stressed? Are we feeling happy and excited to be here? Without judgment, take notes of those answers, and we're going to come back to them at the end of our practice. Another question you can ask yourself is, how does my heart feel today? Our heart chakra is our first intuitive system, and just asking our heart specifically how it feels today will give you an answer and some insight into how your movement meditation practice is going to go. Without any judgment, we're going to observe those answers and let them pass. Emotions are very fleeting, almost like waves of water, and you wouldn't judge how the waves of the ocean crash and create and come up onto the shore. And you shouldn't judge your emotions for doing the same exact thing because they act in very similar nature. So without judgment and without ego and without any self-criticism, observe those answers and simply let them pass. So I invite you to take your awareness from your mind to your feet. In belly dance, we recommend that the feet are about hip width apart and the center of gravity is centered evenly between the feet. So that means there's an equal amount of pressure on the toes, the heels, and the sides of the feet, all centering right in between those 2 feet coming down out of your body. According to your natural anatomy, your feet may be straight on forward or have a slight turnout. Either are fine, just stand how you would normally stand with your feet grounded and planted onto the floor with your center of gravity even between both feet. I invite you to take a moment to observe how it feels to have your feet aligned in your belly dance posture. Okay, so now that our feet are aligned, let's think about the knees and the legs. Just like the feet, the legs and knees should be about hip width apart with your center of gravity evenly distributed on each leg. Specifically with the knees and belly dance, we recommend to have the knees slightly bent and not locked, because that is unsafe and it's really not comfortable. So in belly dance, we recommend that the knees are slightly bent, and the lower and more bent your knees are, the easier it will be able to do complex hip movements, and the lower you are on your knees, the more your range of motion that your hip has to go. So if you're feeling like you're trying to do some serpentine styles with your hips and they're just not going, I recommend bending the knees a lot more so that you have a larger range of motion when working with the hips. I invite you to notice how it feels to have your feet, your knees, and your legs aligned in our belly dance posture practice. Okay, coming up to our next body part in our belly dance posture alignment practice, we've started from the feet, we've worked our way up to the knees and the legs, and one of my favorites, and I think the most important part, is your hip bones, girl. So in belly dance, we are very cautious and aware of our pelvic bone and our hips in our belly dance practice. They're kind of, in my opinion, the home base for all beautiful belly dance movements. So I want you first to take a note of what your natural hip posture is. Mine is a little bit tilted forward like most women, and the hips, you can think of the hips like a cup of water. And if you fill that cup of water up to the very, very brim, your hips in a belly dance posture would look like all of the water is evenly distributed and none is pouring out of the front or pouring out of the back or pouring out of the sides. You can fill it to the brim, she's gonna stay even. My natural posture is not like that. My natural hip posture is a tilt a little bit to the forward, so that if I did have a cup of water, it would actually spill out the front a little bit, and it actually creates like a bit of a sway in your back if you have this natural posture. In belly dance, we like to neutralize those hips and bring them horizontal. And we call this in belly dance a pelvic tuck, and it's a pretty important practice to meditate on. And the more you tuck and make your hips neutral, it will come second nature to you. But I understand as a beginner, it may be a little weird, so I want you to take note, ding, ding, ding. In belly dance, we call this a pelvic tuck, and it's usually not a woman's natural hip alignment. So come a little closer to the camera. My natural alignment is a little bit forward. So if this was my cup and it was straight, my natural alignment is a little bit forward, and that creates a sway in my back. In our belly dance posture class, we're focusing on bringing those hips to neutral so that my cup would be even and none of my water would spill out. So that looks like actively pointing the tailbone down, as if you had a line, and whenever I'm out of alignment, my line kind of sways off like this, but when I'm in alignment, my tailbone is a straight down line like that. Also in the front, it should be straight, which requires a little bit of lower ab activation right here, right under your muscles. If you have a fupa, right here where that V-line muscle comes in. Those muscles get activated whenever we tuck. So to release and tuck, you can see how much the lower abs actually come into play. From the side, I'll go back to my natural posture with a little bit of a swoop in my back, and then I will tuck my pelvis in and my tailbone downward to create a nice horizontally even plane with my hips. So for a moment, I'll just show you what a release looks like, and tuck, and release, and tuck. From the side, release, and tuck, release, and tuck. And then from the front, release, and tuck, release, and tuck. So I encourage you to take a few moments, if you need to just focus on what a pelvic tuck feels like. It's not really a common position that where bodies are in. So I encourage you to pelvic tuck whenever you're thinking about it. Maybe you're in the grocery store and you've got your cart and you just tuck in that pelvic bone and release. Going to the supermarket, tuck in that pelvic bone and release. I invite you to notice how your body feels as we have a line from the feet to the knees and our legs and now our pelvic tuck. Without any judgment, observe your body and how it feels and simply let it pass. Yay, congratulations on aligning your lower body. Now let's get started with our upper body, which consists of our torso and our shoulders. So the torso is activated in our belly dance and alignment posture practice. You can think of your abdomen and your torso as the best friend who's got your back. And I mean that literally and metaphorically and figuratively, because our abdomen protects our spine. So with an engaged abdomen and not too strained, we're not over here trying to be strained or trying to force our body to do anything. But once your feet, knees, and hips are aligned and you've got that nice belly dance pelvic tuck, the abdomen will kind of naturally engage. And it should feel like that they are secure, they're awake, they're here for their shift, they've clocked into work, but you're not flexing your abs or trying to draw them in. No. We are simply engaging those abdomen muscles and really lifting up our spine, creating alignment in our body. This is going to protect your back, your spine, and that results in a nice engaged abdomen and lifted rib cage. Now, with our rib cage, the muscles right here in the abdomen, right above the navel but below the bust line, are lifting up that rib cage so that there's air in your lungs and that there is actually space between your hip bone and the bottom of your rib cage. So what that looks like is a nice lifted and open rib cage. So instead of having the rib cage concave in or simply be too relaxed and not engaged, we're focusing on a great medium between engaged, active, lifted, but not strained. So with the abdomen activated and the rib cage lifted, our shoulders are relaxed, pulled back, and down. So instead of this, a little too forced, a little too strained, way too down and back, it's a very relaxed, rolled back and down shoulder. That should feel like a little bit of tension in between your shoulder blades, but not too much of the shoulder blades are just like right up against each other, straining those arms together, but it should look actively down and back, and that creates a nice V on the back of our shoulders, which you may be able to see if I can get my hair up. So too forced, too strained of a back, it's going to look like this. A lot of tension, when instead we can just relax, roll back and down the shoulders, and there's still tension right here in my back, but it's also not forced or strained. And in the front, that results as beautiful, relaxed shoulders that are active and ready to move if necessary. All right, so next body part up the belly dance ladder is our arms. Floating at our sides, our shoulders are down and back and relaxed. This is what I know as first position in belly dance, which is a nice relaxed arm with a tad bit of curvature and space between the elbow and the torso. So in belly dance, we like to create curves and lines, almost like Cubism, how Picasso made shapes with straight lines. That's pretty much what we're doing here, is we're creating a shape, a nice curvature with the straight line from our shoulder to elbow, elbow to wrist, wrist to fingers, and then fingers to fingertips. And all of those are technically straight lines, but when they're combined in this manner, it looks very organic and circular. So, one thing to be mindful of while we're doing this practice is to not try to create straight shapes. So what that looks like in a belly dance arm is this. Not only did that automatically make my arm look much shorter, it's just less interesting to look at. And from a stage from far away, it looks like one whole elephant trunk. And even more, whenever we bring it up, I'm starting to lose the length of my arm. It's so straight that it looks like I'm a little Barbie doll and a kid is just, cracking me and contorting me in any way. So instead of this really, really straight, almost stiff looking arm, we like to add a little bit of a bend to the elbow and a little bit of a bend to the wrist to create some curvature and make it look like an organic arm, even though we are very meditated on what this arm should look and feel like. So instead of straight, instead of just wood plank coming out of your body, focus on bending certain elements of your arm so that it creates a nice, beautiful shape that we have right here. Both of those arms together, and this is what we call first position arms in belly dance. Okay, so lastly, but certainly not least in our belly dance alignment and posture is our head, our beautiful face in which we communicate to our audience through. So we worked our way from the feet to the knees, to the legs, to the hips, to the torso, arms, shoulders, and all of that's looking great. But what are we gonna do with the head? It's very important that our face and head are also aligned with our body, because the audience, who I assume are human beings, but they don't necessarily have to be, they can be pets, are going to communicate with you through your eyes, through your gaze, through your mouth, and then their eyes will gaze to your body to read your body language. So it's very important that the head is just as aligned as the rest of the body. So I invite you to imagine that, I'm gonna come on my knees by the way, so I can get closer to the camera. I invite you to imagine that you have this lovely grapefruit, this supple grapefruit just sitting under your chin, and you're holding it there, and it's also being held on your neck. And this beautiful grapefruit is giving space and lift to the head. I would love to draw your attention to your chin. So in belly dance, we're focusing on our chin being even and straight to the audience or to the observer. So unless stylistically for choreography purposes, we like to have the chin even, not pointed down, and not pointed too far up so that our head is back. So no down, no too much up unless you want, but neutral, straight on. So I would invite you to imagine a supple grapefruit or an orange or an apple, whatever you like to eat, under your chin, giving you that lift as if you were showing off a beautiful necklace in its craftsmanship that you're just so proud of. You're like, look at my necklace, darling, darling. That's the same thing that we're doing with our chin and our neck and our head and our belly dance posture. So it's lifted, you're drawing in that beauty to your neck, and it's ultimately relaxed. Don't overthink it, we're having fun, so just make sure to show off that beautiful collarbone and neck that you have. So as far as our face, which is a pretty important factor on our heads, your eyes are going to communicate a lot in your belly dance practice. So our eyes are focused and forward. We're not looking down at our feet, wondering if we can dance, because you absolutely can. Just believe in yourself. And unless for choreography purposes, you're not really looking at anything else. So while you're belly dancing, we're not really looking around the room. That creates and communicates discomfort, anxiety. So if you want to display confidence and happiness and relaxation, look at your audience. This is also important if you're moving, if you're turning. In dance, we call this spotting, which is to keep your eye affront to the point that you're looking at until you turn your head, and then you come back to the same point. So that's called spotting in the world of dance, but also in belly dance, we use it just the same as any other dance form. So the eyes are front and focused on either your audience or your spot of focus for spotting. Now, let's talk about the eyes, shall we, darling? The eyes are very communicative in dance. And not only should you be spotting and keeping your body stable with your eyes, it's also a beautiful way to communicate through your dance and movement practice. So I encourage you to keep your two physical eyes focused on whatever you want to draw your attention to, but also your third eye, who can see 360 around, focused on what you're setting your attention to in your belly dance practice. So that can be your audience, who could be your friends, it could be your other dance sisters, it could be your camera, it could be your cat. Girl, it can be your pet snake named Pandora, who sits in the tank and looks at you like, what is she doing? That's my pet. But anyone who you're communicating with through dance should be able to look into your eyes. So for the eyes, we like to look straight on, or you can add a little bit of attitude, a little side to side, or you can add a little wink like that to your audience, or you can communicate something completely different, whatever you want. If in your choreography you're trying to communicate tension, you can look at your audience concerned, surprised, what happened over there? Look over there. If you're pointing your attention, if you're directing your attention in a choreography to something, the eyes are going to be the easiest thing for someone else to follow. So if you have something going on and you want your audience's eye to look at a certain body part of yours, have your eyes look at that certain body part too. And what I mean by that is, I'll show you with my arms. That eye looking straight on while doing something with the arms is beautiful. And if you want to do that, do that. But if you want your audience to look at your hands while you do a movement like that, you can gaze at your hands. So for example, my eye is looking at my hands, my eye was looking at my arm as it was blossoming out. And as you do that, I guarantee you, your audience, if they are human beings, are going to follow your eyes, and they're going to watch wherever you direct your own gaze. So Our eyes are very important, but so is our mouth. Human beings look at the eyes, the mouth, and then the body. So if you're trying to communicate, also think about your mouth. You want to smile, you want to create and communicate relaxation and confidence and happiness and that you're having a good time. While you're belly dancing, throw on a beautiful smile. Yes, you, smile right now, you're so beautiful. So communicate that whenever you're dancing. If you like, if you're doing something serious and dark, girl, you don't have to smile. You can do a smirk. You can do anything you want, but just be aware that your mouth is very important when communicating with the face. So I invite you to smile, smirk, blow a kiss, anything you want to. Just be aware that your eyes, your mouth, and your head position are also a part of the alignment process in your belly dance posture and alignment class. So now that we've aligned the entire body in our belly dance and posture alignment class today, I want to bring your attention back to your mind. Remember that mind that we were speaking to at the beginning of our belly dance and yoga class? Well, we're gonna come back to it because I believe that intention and passion is primary in your dance experience. So, as we have brought our attention from our minds to our feet, legs, torso, arms, head, gaze, smile, hair, all of that, let's bring it back into our mind, into our internal world. How are you feeling right now? Do you feel so excited to go use all this information in your own belly dance or yoga practice? How do you feel emotionally? Were you feeling maybe a little bit anxious and a little bit nervous at the beginning, but now you're feeling confident in yourself to be able to align your body safely in your belly dance posture? How does your heart feel? Is your heart rate up because you're excited and you're moving your body and you're exercising? How do you feel emotionally, mentally, physically? All of those things are really important to consider in your belly dance or movement meditation practice. So I'd like to invite you to take another deep breath in through the nose, and you can use the body if you want to, out through the mouth. I always like to bring my body into it. Up through the nose, out through the mouth. Simply being aware of how you feel now. You've completely aligned your body for a belly dance practice. So I would invite you to take a moment to take some notes mentally on how you feel and what your intention was at the beginning of this practice and what it is at the end of the practice. I love you so much and thank you for joining me in this belly dance posture and alignment class today. Yay! Congratulations again on learning belly dance posture and alignment. I love you, you were awesome, you did that, and I'm so proud of you. As always, my works cited, resources, and citations will all be in the description box below, so check that out if you want to continue being educated and sucking up that knowledge of belly dance posture. If you found any of this information helpful, please give it a like and share it to others. There's no reason for anybody to be greedy with knowledge, so please share this to a friend if you found this video helpful. Thank you for practicing belly dance posture and alignment with me today. Again, I'm fecund maiden, but we're good friends by now, so please call me Tanesha. And I love you. Thank you for being here with me. Namaste and peace.